Hello everybody and welcome to the Daily Splat for the 23rd of January 2018, and it's my one episode a week where I get to talk about football, and I'm going to talk about the transfer news that happened overnight with Alexis Sanchez leaving Arsenal to join Manchester United and Henrik Mkhitaryan leaving United to go to Arsenal in a swap deal. We don't often see swap deals in top flight football, so it's a bit interesting in lots of different ways. First of all, Sanchez to United. The reason this whole deal happened is because obviously Alexis Sanchez had 6 months left on his Arsenal contract. Arsenal were going to lose him for nothing in the summer, and Sanchez really wanted to go play somewhere else and potentially win some more trophies than just the FA Cup every other year, which he did at Arsenal. He's gone to Manchester United. Maybe, some would argue it would have been better for him to hang on and go to Manchester City, seeing as they're in a good position to win the league. But apparently City weren't interested in trying to match his wage demands. United were, and so he's gone to Manchester United. As a United fan, I think it's a good move. They're getting a player who is at the peak of his powers and should hopefully stay there for another 2 to 3 years. And a player who I think will be revitalised by a change of environment and will be playing in, dare I say, a slightly better team than Arsenal. Not to say Arsenal are a bad team, I just feel as though there are slightly better players at United. And I think he could work out quite well. And of course he can play in the Champions League as well, because Arsenal weren't in that competition this season. So it's a good deal from United's perspective. They're getting in a player who's got hopefully a good 2-3 years in him, playing at the top of his game, and yeah, hopefully that will be something that will spur them on to being more competitive in the Premier League. Maybe not this season with the 12-point gap between them and City as things currently stand, but going forward. And of course will help them out in the Champions League as well. So, fingers crossed that Sanchez works out. Going the other way, I'm intrigued by Henrik Mkhitaryan and how he's going to play at Arsenal. It didn't work out for him at United. I quite liked him as a player, but at the same time, it was always awkward trying to balance a team that had him and Juan Mata in it, and I sort of feel as though they're kind of the same player, and the fact that Mata has just continued to play quite well, Mkhitaryan just never quite kicked into gear for United. He had some good games, he scored some important goals, including the second goal in the Europa League final, but unfortunately for him, it just didn't quite work out for him with Jose Mourinho. Going to Arsenal, I think he is a really good player for them to get. Again, he's a similar age to Sanchez, he's just turned 29. They can hopefully get a good 2-3 years out of him as well. I don't mind Arsenal particularly. I think there are clubs who I dislike a fair bit more in terms of a rivalry status. But I think Arsenal's a really good club for him, and I think, particularly if he goes in and plays in the number 10 position, if he's playing just behind a striker, with the pacey players Arsenal do have in the wide positions as an option as well, he could work very well. Whether or not he can work with Mesut Ozil, how he's going to interact with players like Giroud and Lacazette, personally I just think it's a good move for Mkhitaryan, and Arsenal could do with a player like him, particularly if Ozil is going to be leaving as well. So, yes, anyway, that all happened this morning. It'll be interesting to see how they go. If you have any thoughts on the two transfers, and whether or not you feel that United are paying Sanchez too much in his wages, or whether or not you think Mkhitaryan didn't fight hard enough to keep his place, whatever it is, you can leave those comments below. But that's all from me today, so until tomorrow, bye!